Greetings, listeners. I am your host and game master this evening, Zach Barrett, and welcome to this Twisted Gear Studios production of Spacers, our Starfinder actual playcast. Last we left the crew, they had begun to get acclimated to their new positions on the inaugural heap. After a few days, Captain Farah Argus had taken the crew to meet an old friend on the space prison known as Purgatory.
So the meteor docks with the station known as Purgatory. And as you guys enter in, again, just trying to describe the sheer scale of this prison station is insane. You've been to many settlements. Even on Polyman itself, there is a port city. Comparatively speaking, is the whole port city, and even probably if you took all of the settlements on Polyman, would be dwarfed by the size of this station in its entirety. There is a ring around the ecocenter of the asteroid itself that is where ships go and dock, and there seems to be a constant stream of ships coming and going in and out of the prison. And you give them permission to dock. You go on in, and there's these massive hangars with entryways and claws and things that pick up different sizes and scales of ships to dock them appropriately. In past an aerograv barrier so that you can exit your ship safely and not have to worry about the vacuum coldness and, just all around badness of space. And as you dock, there's a individual that's waiting for you on the outside of your ship where your ramp would dock down. Yeah, unless you guys have anything you want to prepare before heading on out, I'm assuming you're all just going to follow the captain in.
I would put on my battle gloves.
The battle gloves?
Yeah.
I bring with me also, I have a battle glove and have a knife with me. I just don that on just in case. But as well as my nice little satchel of coloring books just in case there's like a lull.
And I've got my leather weaponry strapped to me somewhere, but it's not like ready to be in use, but the gloves are on.
Okay. So as the ramp opens up and you just begin walking off of the meteor, down below you see a Formian, a six-legged insectoid individual. There's not many of them that are they're not a common race, even in the vast, but they are a race that everyone would be at least somewhat familiar with. Another one of those many various insectoid races. And as you come down the ramp, he does a bit of a bow, and he seems to be, he's wearing a uniform, like a kind of a scarlet burgundy-esque shirt that you see a number of people around are actually wearing something similar. It's just his is formed to the odd shape of a Formian figure. There's a gun belt around his chest and a rifle slung on his back and a belt around his waist as well. And along his abdomen where the six legs protrude from, there's even a couple of extra tasers, batons, things like that. He seems to be very well armed to deal with prisoners and non-lethal methods. He bows down and he goes, "My name is Kivor. Welcome to Purgatory."
Yeah.
If I am to be understood, you are here to see the Warden.
Yes, we were summoned.
Follow me to processing. He turns and begins walking. Expecting you all to follow. I'm assuming you do so?
Yep.
Fantastic.
I'll be at the end of the line.
All right. Farah will be right behind the Formian, and then is there a particular order you guys wish to follow?
I'm going to be probably level with Diantha, I think, because I'm a little intimidated and I want to stick around with her because she's got a conscience.
That you as far as you know.
I guess that means Greg can't stand with them.
Yeah.
Well, he has some conscience.
He's walking a clump.
Depends on what's involved. He's kind of like, he's not walking straight. He's kind of walking in a zigzag while sniffing the air on either side and like looking around.
You notice this place is oddly clean, knowing that it's filled with, scummy criminals. It's pretty clean. Even looking around, it looks relatively well kept. Some of the people that are dressed in some kind of uniform, there's more of a white uniform as well, and some people seem to be, making sure that things are tidy and in their place. After you leave the main hangar itself, where there are ships just constantly arriving and leaving, there is a processing area with a couple of porthole entries that look kind of like metal detectors of in an airport here in the real world. And the Formian turns around and goes on the opposite side of one and says, "Now, weapons are not permitted in the prison proper. We have personalized lockers for each of you." And he brings out it opens up a door, and there's like a turnstile with a lot of like foot lockers locked in there with keys that are already put in them. The idea is that you take a key out, unlock it, put your stuff in, and then lock it and keep the key with you. Yep.
Finding this out, am I able to take my survival knife and hide it in my hideaway limb?
Want to roll a sleight of hand check?
So that would be 13 plus 3, 16.
Okay. So the first one up would be Argus. Argus goes up. She puts her stuff in there. Doesn't do that much. She kind of rolls her eyes and complains a bit, but she puts her stuff in. Who's next?
I'll go next. I'll just put it in.
Put your stuff in?
Yep.
All right. You all offensive weapons are gone, and you have a key to get to your stuff should you come back here. Who's next?
I'll go next.
As you're putting your stuff in, the Formian reaches out violently for your cybernetic arm.
I also have an arm. Would I take my arm off and give it to them?
Does it have weapons built in?
No, it's just metal, though. Okay, great.
It's not a cyberkinetic arm. It's actually built into my actual arm.
He grabs your wrist.
Oh, crap. Okay.
He twists it to the point where you are moving where he wants. He grabs the compartment, he opens it up, and he pulls the knife out. You rolled a 21 on seeing you do it. And he takes the knife, and he there's this rather unsettling glare he gives you. Are you going to be a problem?
Hey. Hands off. You got the knife.
Roll an intimidation check.
Please roll high.
Ooh, 4.
Why are you using
I should probably change dice. These are
Really
terrible
not
dice.
nice. Not good to you.
I'm gonna try changing dice for the next time after roll something.
Please?
So you say that, he kind of looks at you, doesn't even say anything, looks back at you, Cliptic. Well...
No. It's just very personal to me.
He lets you go and he drops the knife in the bin, locks your stuff in, takes the key out, and hands you the key.
I'll put that into my compartment in replacement of the knife.
He seems okay with that.
Okay.
Greg drops his stuff in. I have the pistol and the knife. And while I'm putting it in there, I was like, I really hope I don't have to use either of those when we come back here. And I just follow the others. I'm not trying to intimidate, I'm just stating fact.
Okay. As you guys go on in...
You're gonna go drop off my stuff, and I'm just gonna glare at him the entire time.
He seems relatively unfazed.
I don't care. I'm glaring at him anyways.
Fantastic. Alright, so as you guys have dropped all of your stuff off, you guys go through the portal archway. When you go through Cliptic, he stops you, even though you've already walked through and says you've got nothing on you, and he personally searches you anyway. Because you tried to smuggle something in.
Right.
Is there anything of interest on your person right now that he would find?
Not that I can think of, no.
Just the coloring book and the crayons?
Maybe some tea. Like little leaf teas in my satchel.
So you watch as this Formian is kind of searching through all these different pockets in Cliptic's robes and satchels and just bags of tea, a box of tea, 2 notebooks, a bunch of crayons, and hands it all back to her, or to him afterwards.
Are we gonna be standing in line here all day?
This way. And heads on. Ushers you on with him. So now you're walking along a glass causeway, metal grating on the floor itself, and it kind of it bifurcates in a number of different areas. Right away, it splits off into 2, and you take the left path. And you can look down into what appear to be several, on this particular floor anyway, several hexagonal, like honeycomb-shaped pods down below. Each pod seems to be broken up into 3 sections. A mess hall area with tables and food, a workout area, and then just a open space that you see people in green jumpsuits just walking around in. They seem to be connected to a series of other hexagonal wall pits that seem to have enough space for one, maybe two individuals, and these appear to be the jail cells themselves. And this floor and this hexagon seems to be on personal time. They're let out of their cells, and there are also pillars that have elevators that are going up and down to floors above and below, and that seems to be a repeating pattern. And each of these pods are segregated to their own. Doesn't seem to be any reason for the segregation, just for possibly population control. And you continue forward until you reach one of the many elevator tubes that goes up. You all climb on in. It takes you all the way up to the top. Is there anything you guys wish to talk about when you're in the elevator on your way to the top?
I'm just going to be really disgruntled because he's disorganized all of my organization of things in my bag.
Yep.
So I'm just quickly trying to put them all back in alphabetical order. In
You guys
my
watch
bag.
Cliptic just...
As well as anything else that was in there. So
I'm just going to continue glaring at the Formian. I don't like him.
I'm also going to probably be hunkering closer to Laurel as well because she stood up for me and I appreciate that. So thank you very much for doing that for me.
You got it, Clippy.
And then I'll just take my hand and just pat her on the shoulder and thanks, and then continue to fiddle around in my bag.
All right.
I don't look at you when I say that. I keep staring at him.
He continues to be unfazed.
Oh, I'm assuming he's not even noticing.
Well, he notices.
Okay.
He just doesn't care. This man guards millions of criminals for a living.
Yep.
One somewhat angry Vesk is kind of like, meh.
He's seen it before.
All right. As you're in the elevators, there is, this glass view that you can go and look out as you're passing all these different layers of hexagonal pits in tiered forms, and the floors themselves are getting smaller and smaller as you're reaching the upper portion of the dome of the upper part of the station, until finally you pass one of the ceilings and expect to see another smaller floor, and it's just darkness. There doesn't seem to be anything here but a solid black funnel that the elevator is in. And when it reaches the top, the only reason you know that is because the elevator stops. The doors open in front, and there is a long hallway that breaks off into side chutes, but it does have one straight causeway down. Black painted walls, blue neon lights from running along the base of the floorboards as well as the top of the ceiling itself. It looks like this particular hall can function in different gravitational states. The floor seems to match the ceiling, seems to match the walls. It's not like the other parts of the station where it looked like there was one definitive direction that it is designed to move in. He starts leading down the hall, and you guys can follow suit.
Yep.
Down each hallway, it seems to lead down to what appear to be glass portways on either side. These hallways seem to go down to different kinds of cells. And yeah, I want you all to roll a perception check, please.
18.
So we'll roll 18. Diantha?
18.
Huh?
18.
18 as well.
19 total for Greg.
19 for Greg.
11.
11 for Cliptic. You're just really distracted by trying to put your stuff together. For Diantha, Laurel, and Greg, on the other hand, one of the more noticeable things that you can tell is that of the quick glances you get of the people in the cells up here, there is something different about them. They're on different scales of absolutely deranged to absolutely calm, but there seems to be something more intense about the atmosphere of the prisoners up here than there is in the rest of the prison itself. You continue on forward until you reach a large airlock door, and this is where the Formian takes a step aside, and he bows and motions towards the door.
I will go open it.
All right. So you guys go on in. Sure enough, inside there is a rather large and fancy room. A lot of screens that overlook the majority of the prison itself, where you would expect this place has been pretty nice and fancy up until this point. Lots of whites, silvers, and glasses. But up here, where one would expect a giant arched window to be, there's a giant arched piece of glass all on the back wall of this curved office. But it's black on the other side, either due to darkness or some kind of a covering like in the elevator shaft, but it's dark. But the room is well lit. There sitting at the desk is a rather portly Lashunta that's sitting there. He's on some kind of a communicator on his ear, and he's playing with some kind of object in his hand. Well, if he doesn't come by for 30,000, tell him that he can go screw himself. I don't want to deal with that. And he starts cursing in anyone here speak Lashunta?
No.
Starts cursing in Lashunta language, and then he hits a button, puts the little things down. Ah, Captain Argus, is it? You go by Captain now. It's been a very long time. And he sits and she introduces herself, and these are the crew I mentioned that would be willing to do some jobs for you for a coin. For a coin? So I have to pay them for the privilege, I see. All right, then. Tell me about yourselves. Who are you?
My name is Diantha. You can call me Diantha. That's it.
Fantastic. What makes you, suitable for hunting down criminals in the ass end of the galaxy?
Been working as a mercenary at this end of space for a while. Know my way around. Handy with a gun. Handy with my fists. Can find who you want. Teach him a lesson. Bring him to you. Whatever you need.
Alright.
I am Calyptic. I'm very good at telekinetically throwing things and medicine.
So you can heal my charges to prison.
Clippy can heal us. So if whoever your actor fights back, they won't be fighting back for long.
Right. And is that where the stench is coming from?
Yeah, he doesn't smell very good. Your Formian friend.
All of you noticing that he's staring at Greg when he says that.
I just roll my eyes.
Greg's just blinking. Looking back at him.
That is Greg, the pilot.
I haven't seen a goblin pirate before. Pilot, I should say. Many goblin pirates, lots of those. Now that you're all closer to the desk, can you roll another perception check, please? Alright, Laurel, what you got?
6.
Damn.
16.
Alright, clip check.
24.
24.
17 for Greg.
17 for Greg. So for everyone but Laurel, wait, did you roll a natural 20 on your perception check? Clip check?
No, I've got a 16 and then...
Oh, so you got a plus a lot to it.
Yeah, plus a lot. Yeah, I have like an 8.
Yeah, alright.
His perception's good.
Alright, so as you guys are kind of up there and you've stepped forward to introduce yourselves, you notice that you can actually see something in the window behind him now. It appears that the window peers down into a very generously sized cell. And down inside this cell, it seems to be partitioned off into two halves by a large pane of plexiglass, as well as the glass itself that is around that looks down into it. The first portion, the portion closest to the warden's office, seems to hold a bench. The other portion, you see the back of a large Vesk, a rather giant, like, Laurel, you're aware that your race, comparatively speaking to others, are pretty big. You yourself are 7 feet tall. Like, you're average sized for your people. You've seen some 8 foot tall Vesks. This behemoth is measuring on close to 9, maybe even 10 feet tall. It may be augmentations or something, but there is a definitive size issue with this Vesk. He seems to be sitting calmly, his back facing the warden's office. But yeah, so it just seems that he's looking down at this rather large cell before he walked in.
So I can see it clearly.
Yeah, you of all people can see it clearly. Actually, with a 24, you do notice that there is a purple streak that runs down the scales along the spine of this Vesk, and it is wearing a green jumpsuit. So it's a prisoner here,
Yeah.
but it seems familiar.
So still futzing with whatever was in it. I have a glass jar of tea, and I just let it drop, and it smashes on the floor, and I'm pale.
What? Yo, Clippy, you okay?
And I'm just staring at this thing in utter horror, and then probably snap out of it, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And then I go down, and I'm just scooping up broken whatever in my hands, and have it cut. Where can I throw this away?
So it's you. Hang on a sec here. Oh, that's a natural 20. The warden looks at you, and you get the feeling that it's not just, he was going to say something along the lines of acknowledging what you've seen. As he speaks up, he goes, I see you've seen my pride. Oh, this isn't the first time you've seen this guy, is it?
I don't know what you mean, sir. And I'm still holding the broken glass, trying to figure out where to put it. I'm distracted. I'm trying to distract myself.
The warden actually pulls himself out of his chair and stands up. He's actually kind of short. And we'll issue to. And he comes up out of the chair and kind of walks around the table and looks up to you. Interesting. So you've seen Shovak before, huh?
In passing.
In passing?
Wait, what?
I'd like to introduce you all to my prized asset here in Purgatory. He ushers you all over to the glass, and he looks down and get a closer look at this large Vesk in a Cliptic does not join with you. Cliptic stays back. Aren't you coming, lady?
I'm going to deal with this first, and I shuffle off somewhere to find where to dispose of my convenient distraction.
Pretty sure Clippy's a dude.
What?
Yeah, and I'll ask him. It's a bug thing.
Even the captain goes, oh! My apologies.
You really all should be a little more astute about that sort of thing.
Also, Clippy's now hiding behind a desk.
Do you know how many different alien races I've seen out in the galaxy? You know what? It's not the first time, it won't be the last.
You okay
Turns
back
out and looks
there?
down the glass window.
I'm not hiding. I'm just trying to find a place to put the glass. Have I found somewhere to put this glass?
There's like a waste bin.
Okay.
No, sorry. There's like a potted plant.
Sensing.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna...
Sensing.
I'm gonna put it there.
Oh my god. Sensing the clear discomfort in the room, I'm just gonna kind of step into the line of
And
sight.
I'm just gonna sit there, and I'm actually, I'm not even gonna dump it into the plant. I'm adding more distraction. I'm just picking all of the pieces of glass from the tea to try and save the tea.
Oh my god. I'll step into the line of sight between the two of them and be like something that's kind of I'm greatly interested. Why don't you tell me about this? Trying to get his attention away from
This is my
Ecliptic.
greatest prized asset. I see out here in the vast Pact Worlds has no claim over anything. Pact World law has no bearing on planets that haven't been discovered. I like to think that the only law out here is mine. I kind of keep the criminals in check, the ones that cross me, and any small communities that want to pay for my assistance to get some pirates off their back. I'll put them in here. But there's some out there that are just a little bit worse than the rest. I have the I am a collector, if you will. You begin to notice that there are actual items around that are in these glass cabinets, and he has a rather large collection of strange stones and bones and a couple of older tools and weapons around as well, likely from some of the finds further and further out in the past. But this one in particular came into my possession a couple years ago. Behold Jolvak Teka.
I don't do anything, I just kind of growl and I look mad.
He's a rather large Vesk if you couldn't tell, but you ever heard the horror stories of a group called the Seven?
In passing.
They tell them like they're boogeyman stories. Like if you go out too far into the vast, you'll run into them. They'll take everything they got from you. They even say in legend that the flagship of the Seven Fleet was built off the corpses of 1,000 worlds.
How poetic.
Isn't
Yeah,
it?
tunes.
What if I told you it was true? What
Go
if I
on.
told you that I had the leader of the Seven here in my possession down
Say
there?
you're full of it.
You want to talk to him?
I think we're here to discuss business, no?
I take pride in my business. To a degree, collecting criminals is my business.
Oh, so you collect people then?
Of course. If they're worth collecting, of course.
How upstanding of you.
Thank you very much. I'll take the compliment.
Jovak isn't the leader of the Seven.
Of course he is.
Nah. Jovak is a punk. He's a 2-bit pirate. Doesn't know what he's doing. Doesn't have any honor to anybody or anything
So you know him?
of him.
Well, anyone want to talk to him? He might convince you otherwise.
I don't have anything good to say to him. If I'm in a room with him, there's a bullet going between his eyes.
Oh, you won't be in the same room as him. There's a nice, lovely partition between anyone that wishes to speak to him and him.
Is there like an insight check or anything like that?
Yeah, sure.
To
Sense
that?
motive.
Sense motive. Yeah, I really got that. Can I?
Sense motive on the warden?
Yeah, just to see if just like his general kind of like, because he's clearly enjoying it. Like his
He's
general roll
very
and
pushy
see.
about it.
I want to see if he's
roll.
enjoying this,
He's enjoying
making us uncomfortable. Clearly,
Yeah, roll it.
and I have expertise in it, so I think I get like a plus something to it. 23.
23.
23.
Dang.
And I have expertise. I have to remember. what it is, though.
You get the vibe as you're studying him up and down as he's going deeper and deeper down this rabbit hole. He's just insanely proud of his collection, and that's all he sees Jovak as his prized jewel.
Okay.
And it's more that he's taking pleasure in that people do more than just, oh, I don't give a crap. I don't know what this is.
Mhm.
The fact that people know who it is validates. There's a sense of validation you're getting from him, and it's why he's continuing to discuss it.
Okay.
So it's not so much that he's enjoying the upset, the upset that he's getting from
But there's a
Cryptic and
reaction.
Laurel. It's just the fact that they know him. It's validating his
Okay.
collection.
Great. Well, this is interesting, I suppose, but I would much rather talk about what we were called here for than whatever this is.
But this is a part of what you were called here for. Sort of. And as he says that, the Argus is close enough with an arm to just smack him. What? Oh. Apologies. I suppose he's none of your concern. Well, come on back then. But, if any of you do need some convincing of the legitimacy of my claim, come and ask, and I can guarantee it's a nice, safe conversation between you and Jolvak Teka.
There's no such thing as a safe conversation
Of course there
with
is.
that animal. I give the window a growl and I start walking. I walk back to the desk with everybody else.
Touchy. So he sits back down. Well, sitting a little taller and more proud than he was before. So, I've been told that I have use of your services as a ship to go and collect some bad people.
Whoever you want to cut. I guess you're adding to your collection.
You want to grab some collection items?
I prefer to talk numbers.
What was that about numbers?
You want us to cut people?
Ah.
We want money for it.
Oh, of course, I'll pay you. The more high profile the target, the more money you get. The other thing is, I also like to catch people that wrong me personally. Normally, if you're hunting someone and they enter the Pact World system, you become a bit of a pirate and you're under their radar and they're kind of more difficult to catch. But if I don't like them and they enter the Pact World system, I'll pay even more for you to break Pact World law and bring them back to me. Now, I've got some low quality targets out there. Nothing worth collecting about. But I do like having people on hand here. Sometimes, if they're low enough down the food chain, as it were, I have a couple of people that come in and ask for some assistance with manual labor, and I make a couple of bucks off of them. You get a percentage of that, of course, or you can go for the big times. Help me check off my list.
I'm gonna hobble up. I've given up on the separation. I've just swept it all into the planter and hobble up and just say, anything that gets us off this place. I'm done. I want to leave.
Am I making you uncomfortable?
I would like to see names on this list of yours.
The collection list?
That's what we're here for.
Yes.
The names are a little weird. But since I've got Jovac here, I was gonna originally ask you to go after a piece of crap named Banta, but if you're looking for a couple of extra credits, I got a much larger list. See that cell down there? Points down to Jovac again. It's quite large. It can be broken down into several smaller cells. If I've got the leader of the 7, I wouldn't mind collecting a couple of others. Feel like hunting down boogeymen.
I don't know any names, so I'd like to get them.
Oh, don't you worry, none. I got names here if you're looking for a story.
I'm looking for names.
Tell us what you gotta tell.
Alright. Jovac was his name before he joined the 7. Once you join the 7, you give up your name and your beliefs. You take on their names and their beliefs. The 7, or actually 7 smaller groups of criminal agencies that work together, you kind of air quotes, if you will. They have a similar belief scheme and goal, but they still don't like to work together if they don't have to. Jovac Tekka's 7 name is the Avarice. He believes himself to be the embodiment of greed and all of that weird stuff.
Oh, okay.
There's 6 others, similarly invested names. The way that their groups partition off, he hates being called Jovac, but like I said, I already have Avarice. I'm looking for the glutton, the sloth, the wrath, the pride, and the lust of the 7. On top of appeasing my curiosity of this collection of mine, I will also be cleaning up the galaxy, if you will. But it's also not quite that easy. Those particular 6 are hard to get. Where it gets a bit easier, though, is the 7 don't get along. They fight amongst themselves. They can't take out each other. They signed a pact saying they won't do that. But if one of the 7 overcomes and defeats one of the 7, the pact is they can't kill each other. But they take a member of that army as a prize. The reason why he's the leader of the 7 is because he has a prize from all 7 of the group. Each member of the 7 has their own guard, their personal vice, if you will. He's actually acquired a member of each of the others, and as such they've taken the names that he's given them. So of course there's Greed's glutton, Greed's sloth, Greed's pride, his wrath, his envy, and his lust. All slaves, but they work under him to help keep in check the other 6. I'm cool with you taking any of his little generals off of the playing field, or any of his enemies. Basically, any member of their organization you can get your hands on and bring to me alive, I'll pay you a fee. Or you can go and get Banta. It's a different guy.
Perhaps we should discuss amongst ourselves first before making any decisions.
Please do. I'm not going anywhere.
You got any way to track these guys down? Last I heard, the 7, like you said, boogeymen. No one knows where they are.
If I knew where they were, I'd have gotten taken care of it myself already. My biggest clue towards them is down there in that cell.
All right, well, we'll discuss the matter and return to you when we have an answer.
I'll be here. As you guys go to leave, you notice that Argus is not leaving with you. She kind of nods towards you, Deantha, letting you know that, yeah, no, it's all right. She's staying behind there. There is a plan as to that.
Okay. Then I lead the 4 of us out into the hallway, I suppose?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Jovek's a piece of garbage.
He's pure evil.
Well, there's 6 more of them out there.
I may know a guy. He's a bit of a jerk. But he's tracked down one of the 7 ships before.
So in this case, are we all agreeing that we want to hunt the 7 and not this Banta individual then?
Do we know anything about that guy?
Just so he is not as important.
Seven are a bigger score. And if they're as real as he says they are, and not just the stories people tell, it's going to be a tough job.
Greg just likes getting paid. And if he gets bored, I'm just gonna leave, really, so... Whatever. It's fine. I'll entertain myself either way.
Okay, great.
I'm just futzing with things in my bag and just offhandedly, not really towards the group, but the group hears anyway. Less evil in this world is better.
All right. And I think we're under an agreement, I suppose, then? Anything else needs to be added? All right. And I lead us back into the room.
So as you enter, you notice that the captain is now gone. You did not see her exit the room. You guys were outside the door. You didn't see her leave, but she's no longer in the warden's chamber, and the warden's sitting at his desk.
Is there more than one door into this room?
Roll a perception check.
Okay. I think that's 17.
17?
Yeah, 17.
Not that you can see. No.
Okay.
Based off of a hunch, can I run up to where the glass is and look down into the chamber?
You just kind of book it to the glass?
I just want to go up. I'm thinking the captain is there, and I'm just in a panic. I just kind of run up there because I'm concerned for her safety.
You rush on down, you go up to the glass.
Yeah.
The warden goes, "Hey, what are you?" And he doesn't really stop you. And sure enough, you see that she's walking into the chamber, not with him. There's like that partition where there's the bench.
Right.
And she's walking up to the bench and she's sitting at the bench.
Again, concerned for her safety. can I follow her into that chamber?
Roll perception.
Ooh. That's 8, 9, 11.
You are looking around. You don't know how she got in there.
Okay, fair enough.
Warden, we'll take this job, tracking the 7 down, but we want to hear what our captain has to say to this piece of trash you got in there, and what he's got to say to her. Can we go down?
Or is there an intercom system?
He sits there and starts rolling the stress marbles in his hand. He says, "You want me to betray a contractual deal with a friend of mine to overhear a personal conversation she wants to have with one of mine?"
We didn't know it was a contract. If we listened in by accident, we didn't know we were doing anything wrong.
500 credits and my finger slipped on the button.
I'll fork over 100.
I'll also contribute 100, but I don't want to do more than that.
Greg's not contributing anything. People's personal items are up for grabs, but personal history is theirs to keep to themselves, as it were. But all their stuff is up for grabs, totally. Yeah.
Do you say this out loud? To them as to why you're just sitting there not giving up any credits?
Yeah, no, I don't need to know what they're talking about. I mean, I'll probably take some stuff from her room later, but her personal,
You what?
What? No, I don't need to know what they're talking about.
Clippy, I think she'll be cool. She'll be cool in there, but D, look.
Excuse me.
I'm not going to be able to talk to this guy.
My name is Diana.
I'm not going to... Yes, you're D. I'm not going to be able to get any kind of info out of him, but you seem to talk to people. And I don't know. Are we going to be able to ask this guy anything? Think it'll help?
The Vesk?
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be easier if someone who's less emotionally invested talks to him than in that case.
Is it worth staying?
If he didn't get any leads from him, I don't imagine we would. If the captain finds anything important, she'll tell us. No point in putting our nose in places we shouldn't be.
She's not necessarily asking about where to find them. We don't know what she's asking him.
Maybe it should stay that way. The captain knows what she's doing.
We don't have any leads. This is the closest thing we're going to get.
And she will tell us if she finds any. She wouldn't have brought us here if she was going to leave us out of it.
Well, actually, originally she was just offering your services to pay for the conversation she's having. So... And he takes the 100 credits from you, Laurel, as you put those down first. He goes, and that's enough for me to let that information slip. Boy, I wasn't supposed to say anything. So you can mark off 100 credits.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to take my 100 credits and just hold it in my hand as a security.
Well, I'll treat it as a deposit.
What is my 100 credits worth for information?
What do you want to know?
What's going on in there? But you've already set your price for that. So,
I'll slip you another 100 and be like, if we don't give this to him, give it back to me.
what is 200 credits worth? For listening to some of the conversation.
I hear there's two among you that don't want to know what's going on.
Huh?
There's two among you that don't want to know what's going on in there, right?
Greg, fork over some.
I'll cook you a good meal. A big meal.
Come on, you slimy guy. If we're going after some of the worst boogeymen in the galaxy, we gotta have some more information before we start.
We can go talk to him then. I don't need to know what she's talking to him about.
Oh, if you want to talk to him yourself, I'll lower the price.
It was free before. Captain Fantastic.
Yeah, free is lower than 500.
I suggest if we want to talk to him, we talk to him ourselves. That way we get the information we want to get from him.
Alright. As soon as Captain's done.
I would like to watch, like, because I assume I can see them. Just, like, watch, like, body language and see if I can get just an idea of the general. Does he sense motive?
Yeah, roll a sense motive.
I did not get very high. I got an 8.
8?
I'm taking my credits back.
Oh,
Okay.
9.
9?
Yeah.
9 times. Alright.
Double check that.
Anyone else rolling in sense motive on this?
Sure.
You know what? Why not?
I already know that he's a
I'm not really looking at the captain, though. I'm glaring at go back.
POS.
Oh. 14.
14?
I have a 15 plus an 8, so...
Jesus. 23.
Yeah, 23.
Okay. So... Diantha, you're noticing that for the first bit of the conversation, for the entirety of the conversation, she is sitting on the bench rather calmly. At the beginning, he turns around and does stand at his full height. Seems to be... It doesn't look like there's an active intention of intimidation, but he stands at his full height. But beyond that, you're not quite understanding the intention. Laurel, you're watching and you're acknowledging that there is a fundamental part of the conversation that is there, and he seems to be acquiring pleasure from a part of the conversation. Like there's a sense of joy that he's getting from talking to the captain. But that's about it. For you, with having over a 20, you notice all these things and a little bit more. That as he's acquiring more, because you only see the back of the captain's head, right? So for most of you guys, it's hard to notice that, but
I would have actually gotten 15 on my roll because I added D6. That's what expertise does.
Oh, I see. Okay, so then you would know the same thing as Laurel then.
Okay.
That there's some part of the conversation he's acquiring joy from. But for you, Cryptic, you're noticing the same thing, but you're noticing that as he's getting more joy, the captain's beginning to kind of crack a little bit. She spends the majority of the conversation in some sort of control of the situation, and he's gaining control of the conversation from her. The conversation lasts about 10 minutes. And at no point is there any physical hostility, but you get the idea that when the captain gets up and kind of rushes off down the opposite side of the viewing room and heads into a chamber that goes somewhere else, that he won to some degree. Whatever that may mean, you're not entirely sure, and you have no idea if the captain got what she was looking for. But Jovac is standing there in some sense of pride.
I'm just probably going to look at it in absolute horror and remembrance.
Yep.
So, but the captain has not come back into our chamber. No. She left somewhere else completely. Diantha, we should check in with the captain as soon as possible.
Don't worry, it's on top of my priority list. But now I imagine it's our turn to talk to the big lizard man.
I mean, yeah, if you like.
Are we all going to go? Or would it be best to pick the individuals who have less of an emotional connection?
I'm not leaving you guys in a room alone with him.
In a fit of being worried for the captain, I'm gonna pull up my bootstraps and also head in as well.
Okay. So, Greg, you going as well with them?
Oh, yeah.
So the whole lot of you are like, all right, we're all going to go. The warden smiles. He reaches under his desk and he hits a button. And one of the actual cabinets that holds some of his belongings, his item collection, kind of moves off to the side and reveals that there is a stairwell that goes down into the chamber proper. And you all head down. You all enter the pure dark, the room, the walls, the floor, the ceiling. It's weird. It's got like this glassy finish, and it's all pure black. And you can't tell where the light source from the room is coming from. It's just very interestingly designed to create this void-like space. So you enter this illuminated black void, and the door closes behind you, as you would have expected to happen with the captain as well. And you head down to speak to Jovak Teka.
Thank you for listening to this Twisted Gear Studios production. The next episode of Spacers will air Tuesday, February 19th. Until then, Tuesday, February 12th is the next episode of The Call, our Call of Cthulhu actual playcast GM'd by Derek Snow. And Friday, February 15th is the next episode of our collaboration podcast with MacGuffin Media, The Legend of Zingdong. The game system used today was the Starfinder game system by Paizo. Music in this episode was licensed through Video Copilot. Sound effects and ambient tracks licensed through Triune Films, Video Copilot, and Sirenscape. You can find all the Twisted Gears' podcasts on YouTube, Google Play, Apple Music, and Spotify. Please like and follow the Twisted Gear Studios Facebook page, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Twisted Gear. Your players this evening were Janessa Coles, Lindsay Delansky, Elizabeth Wells, and Bailey Yarkey. Your audio operator tonight was Rob Hickey, and I was your host and GM, Zach Barrett. If you happen to be in the Fort McMurray area, you can find me at Tavern on Main every Monday at 7:30 p.m. for trivia. Have a good night, everyone, and we'll see you next time.